All right, thank you for staying with us. Now, conflict can happen when family members have different views or beliefs that clash. Sometimes conflict can occur when people misunderstand each other and jump to the wrong conclusion. The question is, how can we handle different personalities clashing and disagreements over ways of doing things? What are your thoughts? Please join the conversation and call us on 081 0764 1679 or 090-241-63440. Or you can tweet to us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourViewTvc. Ladies, what are your thoughts on this matter of conflict? I know Toby is begging God. Don't worry. I just want to quickly share an experience. I recall when I just got married. While my husband and I were in a relationship before we even got married. So he is this type of person that is, when it comes to money, he will tell you, okay, made this, I got this, I made this amount of money. So he will break it down. He's very transparent with money. So it came to me, I was like, it's your money. Why are you telling me? Why are you telling me about all of this, right? It didn't make sense to me because you made your money, right? So whatever you want to do with it. So he'll also tell me, this is what I did with the money. In my head, it was like, okay, why are you telling me? Me, I'm used to, okay, my own thing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I don't need to carry you along, whatever it is, when it comes to finances. But over time, I began to understand, this is how he runs his own thing. But then it was a challenge for me at the beginning to say, okay, this is amount I made, and then this is what I'm doing with the money. And you know how we can be women with money. It's my money, your money is our money. And all of that. But he made it easy over time that, okay, we can be transparent with money and it is not going to be an issue in the marriage. But then it took a while for me to get into that space. There were clashes, so where I would buy things, where is this one from? And I'm like, I bought it now. This matter of this, my money, I bought it. But over time, I began to understand the essence of why he was talking about, or why he was looking in this space of transparency with money and spending, so we could actually we hold each other accountable for how we manage our resources at the end of the day. And it worked well for me, and it's still working well for me. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
All right, let's hear
Wow. Okay, so I hope my husband's not watching.
We will send him the link for replay.
Okay, so we struggled so much initially. This conflict matter. We struggled so much because we had very, very extreme personality types. So I am the soft introvert, and my husband is the super extrovert. So the first thing that was bringing all the clashes for us was issue of friends. So I believe, hey, one or two, just fine. I mean, I don't want, my matter will no longer be private if I have to share it with everybody. So why are you bringing everybody into our matter? What's going on? When we have some money and we feel we're trying to keep this money for this, my husband will tell me, Ronke, you know Dotun now? Dotun's car broke down somewhere in Lagos.
It's such a caring person.
Today is Dotun. Tomorrow he say, guess what? I will just come, And then this guy called me, went to 724. I'm like, oh my God, which other name would I not hear? And I was wondering, maybe he saw when we're dating, when we're in a relationship that, okay, my wife likes to take things a bit slow. She came from the north. She has this northern background. I cannot bring everything to her white.
Yeah.
So by the time we got married, I saw everything white. I'm like, hey. What's going on here? Where is this one from? And say, I mentioned his name to you now. This guy told me about. So it was a major concern for us. There were people that would just come and you feel, okay, yeah, thank you. You've had dinner. And he says, oh no, he's staying over. I'm like, he's staying where? In this house.
Tell me.
But it wasn't an issue for him because my husband grew up from a polygamous home and they always had people come in. I mean, he would tell me, this person stayed for 2 weeks, this person stayed for this. But in my house, it is a case of, you're going this way, let's know what you're doing. So we had those issues and we struggled a lot. I guess both of us had to adjust, particularly me. I just had to respect the fact that if you want to kill this guy, ask him to be like you. He can never be an introvert.
Absolutely.
I was not looking for how to make him less extrovertish. I tried to understand, and then I tried to get us to face consequences sometimes. So next time we would adjust. Okay, let's do it this way, and then when we see the results, we'll get
adjustment.
to adjust.
I like that word.
So we had to adjust.
Because if you want to keep your relationship, your marriage, even the peace within your family, if you're talking about siblings now, it's important to adjust.
We had to adjust.
But how do you adjust is another issue. But let's hear you, Toby.
I think that handling conflict or conflict itself is a natural occurrence in any relationship on earth. If you're a human, you would face, in fact, animals face conflicts because you see two animals fighting, right? So it is a natural occurrence for living organisms, right? Now, the issue is how you're able to handle it.
Manage it.
Right? Because, and in handling it, I think that there are personality differences. For some people, you are able to easily communicate the way that you feel. I don't like what you did, Veronica, please.
Really?
Right? I'm just giving an instance. But some people, they hold on to it, and then it becomes like a major issue. They're not speaking about it, and I see that play out also in marriages, where it is that somebody is the outspoken one, and that person is as you're giving me, I'm giving you back. I don't like, guy, don't try it. And the other person is receiving it, and the person is just keeping quiet. Okay, I'm sorry. And you're even upset again about the person saying sorry because you're like, what are you sorry about? You're not even explaining. So I think that when we're able to understand that personalities differ, we'll be able to undo conflict within the home. And I think that sometimes we take...
you have a caller.
Okay, let's continue.
Yes, we have Barrister Adeyemo on the line. Good morning. Go ahead with your contribution.
Good morning, beautiful ladies.
Morning.
This is a very interesting topic.
Yeah.
There are three major causes of marital or relationship conflict. Talk about the finance, talk about sexual issues.
Can you speak up, please? We can't really hear you clearly.
Okay, hello, are you hearing me now?
Yes, it's better.
Yes. So there are three major causes of marital issues. We talk about the family, talk about finances, and talk about sexual compatibilities and what have you. Now, on the issue of finances, how to see transparency in finances is very key in marriage.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, if you are open to each other, the woman will not bring unnecessary billing. I've been married for 13 years now. So, and as a matter of fact, I can tell you there is financial transparency. If I have any money I have, my wife knows about it. As a matter of fact, we have joint accounts. So when couples need to get matured to the extent that once they get their financial transparency right to each other, they will absorb themselves of unnecessary pressure. Most of the challenges in marriages regarding finances are avoidable. They are avoidable. It's just that we have these natural African settings of the woman must not know what the husband has, and all those kind of things. That African setting, and I think it's really breaking a lot of homes.
Yes.
Why will you be as a man? Why will you as a man, your wife does not know your finances? Why will you as a woman, your husband does not know your finances? Then where lies the issue of trust? Because trust goes beyond you're having another idea outside. No, there must also be financial trust. Thank you very much. That's my contribution.
Thank you, Barrister Adeyemo. Thank you very much. You had a line of thoughts earlier.
So, and I also do think that a lot of people try to excuse their bad behavior and blame it on personality. So this is how I am. This is the way I respond when somebody gets me upset. But we see that if we're able to manage that properly, if we're able to understand, because the essence of knowing your personality is to get better at what it is that you're doing. But a lot of people handle conflicts by saying, I'll give it to you hot, right? And not really process it. And for people that hold on to things, they don't also know that it is beneficial to speak out. But they'll blame it on their personality as, because I keep quiet, I'm not able to speak out. And I think that I like the concept of Christianity that would say that in marriage, you're able to see yourselves as one, right? You're not two separate individuals trying to walk through life. You're
competing against each other.
Do you see that competition again is a major issue, competing against each other, such that when you get an income, you're holding it to yourself and say, my wife must not know about this. Because like the caller rightly said, when the person knows what you're earning, it avoids unnecessary billings. The wife already knows that, yes, it's 500K that comes in to this guy's pocket every month. And I know some instances where it is even the man that would now send the money to the wife. However it is that you want to spend it, just give me transportation, right? Give me something that I know that is okay for me. And so that way, you're not able to bill him unnecessarily or complain and all that. So I think that there are many factors to put in place or to consider when we discuss conflict as a concept.
Veronica, can I disagree a little?
Please go ahead. Yeah, that's the essence of a conversation.
Yeah, because I think what Toby just said is what it should be. But is that what it is in standard practice, as in real life situations? Because so many people have concerns with discipline. I like what the caller said, but I'm not sure it's practicable in every home. Not because there's a better party. Or you fell in love with someone, you want to spend the rest of your life with that person, you're not judging the person's past, but you also need to respect the person's level of discipline. We do not come into the same position with an equal amount of discipline. And sometimes, so many women are hurting today because they judge their partners based on their level of discipline, which probably did not work out. So what do I mean? I like what he said about a joint account, and I know that it works for some people. But there are others. There are some other people who do not have the discipline to maintain it. They just rob the other party of his, take advantage of the fact that that person seems naive, or the person is too trusting, or the person loves. So I feel we should deal with our partners according to knowledge and not just principle.
Oh, we'll get to that. Ruth is calling from Kaduna. Ruth, good morning. Go ahead with your contribution.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Well, I really love your program all the time. So it was a very positive I picked the number when I was listening to the program. So I was very interested about the program because the program really, you people are really trying.
Thank you.
But unlike today, the men always feel everything they are doing. They want everything. So for you ladies, they always take you as nothing. They don't value women at all. Seriously, you people are doing a good job. I really appreciate the people. I just feel and say hi.
All right. Thank you so much, Ruth, even though I couldn't really hear some of the things she said.
Okay, so she said she thinks we're doing a good job, that she appreciates the advice that comes from the show, and she just called to say hi, to say thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ruth. This matter of dealing with our partners according to knowledge, that's the last statement you made. That struck me, it struck a chord with me. How many people take time to understand their partners?
So that's...
So most people do not take time to understand, study your partner, to know how to deal with them. I'm not saying dealing with them by punishing them, to know how to relate with them. And then the question of, why are you in this relationship also matters. Why are you in this marriage? What enticed you, or what endeared you to this person in the first place that you decide, I'd want to walk with this person for the rest of my life? That's with regards to marriage. Or I'd like to be with this person and we'll move on till the end of our lives, so to speak. So we're talking about relationship, partnership, and all. And then if you're in a family, what are the goals, or what's the family about? What's the family about? So the essence of the family, what is it about? If we have defined narratives around our relationships, our families, I think we'll understand what we are doing together with our partners. Now, let me share an experience. I used to be angry that my husband was not doing certain things, because until one day the Lord opened my eyes. Now, this is speaking spiritually now, to understand who I am in the marriage, the role I am to play in that marriage. And once I understood that this is my role, beyond the fact that I'm his wife, but this is my role spiritually, this is why he put me in this marriage as, joined me together with my husband. It settled a lot of things for me because I had a knowledge of who I am, my role, the role I came to play in the life of the man I got married to. And so I didn't bother myself getting angry with a lot of things. It settled a whole lot for me in my mind. Knowledge is important.
Knowledge is important.
Be it spiritual, physical, whatever it is, knowledge is important. Understand your spouse if you are married.
Yeah.
So okay, this person does this thing and it brings friction, conflict. I don't like that for our marriage because I know the purpose why we came together as one, right? So if this friction, this thing keeps happening, are you even willing to have a conversation with this person to say, let's sit down and talk things through? Some people do 6 months appraisal of their marriage or their relationship. Are you appraising yourselves? What is going on? No, it's true. People just think that, we should just come together and life goes on. Whatever you do, I don't care and all. No. But I think it's high time we begin to have conversations around and appraising ourselves. How are you relating with me? How am I relating with you? What don't you like that I'm doing? Can you stomach it? If I know that I tell you something and you don't react immediately, it takes a while. So I start looking at how do I communicate to you so that you do not get offended, so that you can begin to speak with me openly. Are you friends with your spouse? Or you just got married because society demanded we should get married and I am doing this? These are the issues that point you in the direction of knowledge. Let's quickly take this call. Bright, calling from Argo. Bright, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Holding at my end for a while now. Okay, the topic on ground, relationship, marriage, and family. I love the topic on ground, but looking at it, what I see is I see that there's something that holds the three factors: the relationship, the marriage, and the family, and which is love.
Right.
Which is love. Once love is breached, things go wrong. Things will eventually go wrong. When there's a breach in love, things will go wrong. And the one thing about life is this: you can't take away conflict from life.
Right.
You're bound to face conflict.
But if I may ask you, what is love? Because people will tell you love is relative. The definition for love is relative.
Okay. Love. I like to go biblically now. Love is God. Love is God. And the reason why we get it all wrong concerning love is because we fail to understand what love is. And that is why, I guess, was it last week, I called in as well, and I think we talked about love as well. And the people get it all wrong with love. They do things, they say, I did it because of love. No. People don't do things because of love. People choose to use love to do the things they do. Because they fail to understand what love is all about. Love will not hurt. Love will not lie. Love will not want to bring harm to you. That is love for you. So when people understand love, they will know what to do. Now, the reason why there's conflict and mismanagement in conflict is because they are afraid to understand what love is all about.
And is love enough?
If I really have the knowledge and I have the awareness of what love is, love should be enough. Because love is God. Is God not enough for me? Because the problem is love. People don't understand what love is all about. That's the problem. Love. Most people, their love is limited. There are certain things that will creep into them and it will bring about a breach to their love. So they don't understand the depth of love. There's this depth about love. People don't understand the meaning of love. So they just use the words anyhow and they want to use it to what they want to get and go away with it. So they fail to understand what love is all about. I tell you, if I really know what love is, there are certain things I will never do, no matter what the situation is demanding me to do. So the issue is this, the love. If we can get it all right concerning love, I tell you, life is sweet. Life is sweet.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Bright. for the benefit of, we have a mixed audience. So his perspective is the perspective of the Bible.
Yeah.
When it comes to love.
Yeah.
So some other persons will not see it in that light. So we must also try to balance this conversation as much as possible. Yes.
All right. So, Veronica, I want to deal with handling conflicts in the marriage. So I'm moving from, I agree with the last caller, conflicts occur even among friends, siblings, but I want to attend to how to handle conflicts when they happen, relationship, marriage. So for me, I want to task everyone or challenge everyone to understand themselves. I'm talking about emotional intelligence, self-awareness, self-regulation, a lot of all these self things. Most times I see those lines from people who have come out of one marriage into another, and maybe they're in another marriage. Say, how do you know this will happen? If you know they've gone through hurt, and they say, oh, because I made a mistake the first time. So I feel when people are getting set, part of counseling in any sector or circle, be it Christian, Islamic, anywhere, they should take them through emotional intelligence and keep them away from the spouses a bit so that they can understand themselves and understand also how to regulate themselves. If you can regulate yourself, you would probably not expose yourself to, look at what you said about somebody pouring hot oil. I mean, if there was self-regulation, it wouldn't have reached the point of having to pour hot oil because nobody is denying the fact that she must have been hot. Is that a call?
Yes, there's a call. And we have Adamu calling from Ikeja. Adamu, good morning. Go ahead with your contribution.
Good morning, Samurai.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been, watching your list. I'm first-time caller. And I've been listening, watching your program as well. Please, you think something now that about relationship, which is based on love. When you are the man, you are trying to my wife. This is I don't ask you to do much in the house. All I just want you to do because my wife happens to be a teacher, and just pay attention to the children. Let the children go through the educational process. But sometimes you wake up in the morning, do all the necessary things. I won't deny the fact that take care of the house, take care of me, take care of the children. But the main thing which I needed more, which is most important to me, she's not doing it. I am an outer man.
What is the most important thing you want her to do?
The thing is just an educational aspect of life. That's what I want you to do for my children. I'm not saying, there was a time I sat her down. And I think that because you said something and that was what made me to fall down. You said sometimes is when your spouse does something to you, you understand, you need to sit them down, talk to them, you understand. So that will make it will be a foundation of friendship and love, you understand. Then now, I want a situation whereby, I said, I sat down and I said, I don't want you to even give me food again in this house. But all I just want to do, attend to them, let them read. I've been to the office now. So now I'll go to office from Monday to Saturday, no cases. Then coming back, I will still be the one, kind of take your book, read, do this, do that. I came back around to tell you today, and I'll still be the one that read this and that. It is not working. So what do you expect me to do?
So do you help her? Do you help her with other chores in the house so she can focus on this children? Does she have a help?
I need to say this for her. Sometimes I watch her laundry. You know what's time? Because I was born and brought up in Lagos, I have this kind of ideology of Yoruba and Igbo, you understand me? So I believe my wife is my partner. She's a friend. Yes, if I do anything for her, I believe I'm doing for a friend. We've been a good time. But the only thing I needed most is that education. That's all.
That conversation you had with her, did you ask her what challenge she's facing, why it is that she's not narrowing down to this matter that you really want her to address?
You said what? Come again.
When you had the conversation with her, what did she say the challenge was with just focusing on educating your children?
This is not the first time. This is not the first time. This is not the second time I've been asking for this. In fact, at the point I knelt down.
What did she say? When you had the conversation with her, what is she saying?
She said she will adjust. She will adjust. she will adjust.
All right. She's saying she will adjust, she will adjust. Does he understand what challenges she's having with adjusting, even promising to adjust? You know, these are critical questions that should be asked. Yes, to be honest.
Yes, I think that while people are dating, whatever it is that endeared you to this person, when you get married, you are going to see that in times 1 billion. So if you are dating somebody that doesn't like stress, when you get married, she's not going to all of a sudden become hardworking. She's going to be she will want the soft life times 1 billion, like in a greater degree. So sometimes when we see that, you know, because sometimes also when someone says that, she's so quiet, I like somebody that is not like me, she's very, you know, reserved. When you get married, because you are outspoken, you don't expect that she would now become outspoken. She will still be herself, and now she's even in a more, my parents, I don't have anybody putting pressure on me. She's going to be more reserved. So I think that it is important to understand where she's coming from, right? Because that will give you a proper context to what it is that she's currently experiencing now. And from the conversation, I'm maybe thinking that maybe she's stressed, right?
That's why I asked him.
Okay, which is why you asked the question.
Is there some support you are giving her? Is there a help?
No.
So for me, what is the issue?
No, Veronica, my own question is, does she have the capacity
to teach them?
So if we had him on,
he said she's a teacher.
Oh, she is a teacher.
That's what he said.
Oh, so if she has the capacity to teach and she's not teaching, then it might be what you said. Maybe she's overwhelmed. But that's why I said earlier that everybody needs to adjust, because taste and preference used to change with time. It changes as people get older. So there are some things that Toby could have liked when she was maybe 10 years younger that she doesn't want to see now. And that's something that I feel brings conflict in the marriage, because this partner that you felt, okay, she's a teacher, she should do this. So with time, those things get to change. Maybe
maybe she's even tired from teaching.
Maybe her interest
during the day.
Her interest now is fashion.
That is why I feel that couples should sit. That's what I have an assessment of, you know, how it is, how you're evolving, and how perhaps this is bringing friction between you both.
The man mentioned that he knelt down. No, they said he knelt down to beg her. Did you hear?
And she promised to change.
And she promised to change.
She promised to adjust.
Yes.
So what is the issue? It's obvious that maybe she's not voicing what really the issues are. So perhaps if he can bring in someone whom she trusts enough to speak with. There are those who may not be able to open up to their husband. He said he's a Hausa man, but then he has an idea of how people run their families, the Yorubas, the Igbos, and he brought that into his home. Well, maybe she's from the core northern home where you can't look up in terms of, you have some reverence for your husband. And so she may have that also working. And then maybe there are people she can speak with. And so if he can find someone that she can confidently speak with, confide in, to say, okay, these are my challenges. And they can trust this person to perhaps wade in. I am thinking that might be a solution.
Yeah, that will help.
If she can confide in someone else that he can speak.
Absolutely.
And that's if both of them are open to having a third party in.
Yes.
But another question is the approach. How does he say these things? How does he say it?
He kneels down.
No, he can't kneel down. Say, will you attend to my... He can't be kneeling down, obviously.
Because you could tell that he don't vex on top of this matter.
No, because he said he has been saying it repeatedly.
You know, so saying it repeatedly, how? You know, there's so many people.
So if you kneel and you are talking to your spouse, will you be forcing them to say, you must do this thing, you must do this thing?
If you kneel after shouting, abusing, and all of this, and the kneeling is, I'm apologizing and I'm still saying the same thing.
We have a caller on the line. Afolabi calling from Songo. Afolabi, good morning. Go ahead with your contribution.
Good morning. Everybody in the house.
Good morning.
I'm enjoying your program once again.
Thank you.
You see, you see the issue of the last caller. Accommodating by the man, accommodating. The man must be able to accommodate, because marriage and relationship goes in stages. That is where experience comes in. The first stage, you will observe a lot of things. After some time, you discover and you maneuver. I am speaking to you, I am about 45 years in relationship and about 42 years in marriage.
Wow.
You see? So, as time goes on, if you are accommodating, you'll be correcting your partner, because the having a good home depends on the man. It is the man that will have good relationship to the wife. It is the man that will provide economic pointers for which the home will rest upon. Sincerity is another thing for both of them. It is not for only woman to have sincerity, to be sincere. The man also has to be sincere. If you are working, you are earning 100 naira. You must be able to tell your wife that my earning is 100 naira. The earning of the woman sometimes does not even important for the man to know. I mean, if a woman is working, yes, she can tell you that she's earning so, but the main thing, the main earning or to finance the home is the man. When the man has it at the back of his mind, he will not have the mind to go outside to be going for other things that are not profitable for the home. He will have rest. He will make the wife the good friend as his partner. If he goes at work, he will come back home straight and be with his wife and the children.
Okay.
Then another thing that has to be taken cognizance, if marriage have not started producing children, they will be having some kind of little problems. Sometimes when you have children, and your children start to grow for say 4-5 years, you will be able to have third party within you for which you can settle matters. All right. So it goes.
Yes, we must thank you so much for your words of wisdom. Our time is running out, and we want to quickly maximize what we have left to tie up this conversation. Yes, you wanted to say something?
So I think that as couples, it's important to understand your spouse's weakness, and I think that it is important to outsource your weakness when you see a weakness in your spouse. So for instance now, your wife doesn't know how to do some things. Rather than keep complaining about it, right?
If you can do it.
Or outsource it. There's no prize for best wife in washing plates, best wife in sweeping. I mean, do you see? So in this kind of instance, for instance, your wife, yes, she's a teacher, but she's unable to do that for the children. Is it possible to get somebody to get this done for the home? Do you see, for the children, for your own peace of mind, for your own joy at the end of the day.
And maybe he's also considering the financial
implications. But so she's not doing it, and we see that it is a problem.
But they can't accommodate that financially. What happens? That's another consideration.
That's a very sensitive one.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It is.
You know, he married. He said he understands that finances, the bulk of finances, should be done by the man. So he chose to marry someone that can take care of the home. For men that are domesticated, that would always be an issue. There are some men that come to schools to report their wives as if the school should go and take the wife to court or something. So we can't blame him.
Domesticated, but is that the entirety of a woman? We need to tie up
this conversation. Okay. And one key thing is this: you need to understand yourself, your role in that home, why you got married in the first place when it comes to marriage, and then understand your spouse, get a knowledge of who your spouse is so that you know how to relate with them. You know their weaknesses and strengths so that you can manage conflict in the home. There's so much going on in the world that you need to put yourself in a space, in a sane space. So if you know that this is how I can manage things around my home, around my family, do what is needful and necessary to have that sanity. This is where we'll draw the curtains on this particular conversation. We are still here. We still have more conversations on the show this morning. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll be looking at another issue. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We still have our guest, Ayolari Wachu, in the studio talking to us about his journey in the real estate sector and the processes he had to go through. One intriguing aspect is the fact that he had to turn down a 200,000 naira job as at
2006 to take up an unemployment without pay.
Unemployment without pay. So
for 7 months.
Just build the story from there.
So basically, as I was saying, to be the best in whatever you do, you have to learn from the best. So as at that time, as a young engineer, so all I set out to achieve is to be able to become a force to reckon with in the industry in which I found myself. And and that is the driving force. So, and to be very candid with you, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, so I have to survive. Because I've learned survivor since I was age 9, how to survive. So, so what do I do differently was the fact that in this company I was talking about, they were training me on how to design. So there was a tutorial center very close to the office. So in the evening when I close by 5, I go to the tutorial center to do 2 hours. So they pay me 150 naira per hour. So that is what I was sustaining myself on, coupled with the little allowance I was getting from home. So after 7 months, so they placed me on salary. After 7 good months, they placed me on salary of 15,000 naira. So I worked with the firm for 2 years, and I moved job again. So I went to work with another company. It's a group of company because I moved away from working from one man to a group of company where there's a bit of structure. So I just want to experience how structure work. You know, where I was coming from, we are the accountant, we are the site clerk, we are the storekeeper. So I want to work in an organization whereby you have the site engineer. There is an organogram that will be followed. So I moved up job, and to my surprise, when they interviewed me for the job, they placed me on a weekly allowance of 32,000, not salary. Weekly allowance of 32,000. So I rose from being a site engineer to being a deputy project manager of hundreds of millions of projects. So I was coordinating 3 projects at a time: one in Elaje Bariga, one in Makoko, and one in Agulejika in Sele. And I shuttle all of these 3 sites every day. Do you understand? And they were doing different work as at that time. So, because I want more, and I want to see how multinational is like. What does it feel like to work in a multinational company? So I applied, and as at the time I was applying, the role was a trainee engineer. So after working for 3.5 years, and the role available as at then was a trainee engineer, I actually took up the role, and it was a massive pay cut for me. But I experienced efficiency at the highest level. I experienced specialization at the highest level, working with an organization like that. And in 2010, I pulled out to form a company called GeoShot Consult Limited, where we major on piling works. And why do I so much want to be in the construction, in the bid sector, is the fact that people rarely get value for money in this sector, really. Yes, majority of people get their finger bumped. They promise them A and they deliver Z to them. And as at the time I was talking about, piling is very, very complicated because people even handling piling as at that time, they don't have the technical prerequisite to actually undertake such projects. And the rate of foundation failures at that time is actually alarming. So I took it upon myself to say, you know what, I am going to venture into piling and I'm going to do something differently. I will ensure every client get value for their money. So in 2010, the little money I've gathered together, around 570,000. So I used it to start up a company called GeoShot Consult Limited. So I put the money into fabrication of what they call Dandu rig. It's a smaller piling rig. It's locally manufactured. So, and when this was done, I called on people that have been in the industry, we call them the riggers, the operator in parlance language. And they have about 15 years experience. Wow. So me coming with 5-6 years experience. So I brought them close. I said, you know what, we can be partner on this in this company. All I need is your expertise. I will do the technical aspect of this work. You go to site and deliver quality and deliver the job to the client. So, from there, I keep on building my equipment base. And in 2014, GeoShot has grew up to become a company that is over 500 million in both equipment and cash in the bank.
Sorry to cut you.
Yes.
I hear these figures and I'm amazed. Yes. Now, you spoke about saving to start a business.
Yes.
You also spoke about getting employment without pay.
Yes.
In this 2023, no young person wants to hear that too. Do you see? So a lot of people will say, how can I go to work for you and you're not paying me? So are those things still relevant today? Young person watching today saying that this was then, is it still relevant now?
And that is why these days is quite alarming. Two things are quite lacking. People with talent not having good attitude. And people without talent having good attitude. It's a mismatch. So it's a big problem now for we the employers. It's a big problem because even the graduate that is being turned out year in, year out, are they employable? You are washed. You still have to handle a graduate you have to teleguide them for them to be able to perform their duties. With outside that, you are just going to be.
Boil down to our curriculum as well.
I think it's now a culture of mental laziness. Yes, mental laziness and what they call what do they call
entitlement.
this? Self-entitlement, sense of entitlement. When I was growing up, due to the nature of my background, I don't expect anything from anyone. Anything I cannot get on my own, then I'll have to face the music. So I know what it is to be here, I know what it is to be here, and I know what it is to be at the highest level. Yes, but I vow never to beg for anything. So everything I must get, I must earn it. So I go into what they call self-development. And when you say people work for free for people, I have worked on several projects pro bono. Several projects pro bono. Because I believe first in delivering value, then I can now say, okay, this is what I'm going to take. Majority of the time, you will be cheated. But one thing is certain, the experience cannot be taken away from you. So I've worked severally, and I've done a couple of projects. And when I say I work freely, I don't work freely in Alimosho. I work freely in Banana Island. If you want to give me a project in Alimosho, and I'm looking at doing a project in Banana Island, I will give the Banana Island my total consideration. Even if they are not going to pay me,
Why?
I will be on the project.
Why?
Exposure experience.
Exactly.
Access to clients.
Delayed gratification.
All he's talking about is delayed gratification.
Access to experience.
Yeah.
Because the quality of construction, the quality of material you'll be exposed to working in Banana Island, working in Lekki, working in Magodo is not the same you'll be exposed to if you are going to work in Alimosho, if you are going to work in Ogun State. Do you understand? Yeah. After turning down the bank job as a teller, they gave me another job in another company that they wanted to be building bungalows. And I look at it, that is not what I want. What I wanted for my life is the ability to be able to have the experience, to be able to put up towers, to be able to put up 5, 6, 7-story buildings. Do you understand? Know when to call in particular professional as at when due. Do you understand? Yeah. And it has always been my dream to provide shelters, giving people value for their money. And I can say to you that we were the first development company in Lagos to actually build an apartment building on the mainland, in Bagada to be precise. And we are sold out, even against all feasibility studies. That mainland is territorial, they want terraces, they want semi-detached. And in 2018, the project was actually delivered.
Mr. Kuyebi, I have enjoyed listening to you. I mean, I could have paid to listen to this.
Yes.
Well, whenever we hear real estate, it makes a lot of people's hearts pant because someone did a post on Instagram recently and he said, if you earn 90,000 in Nigeria, there's no way you can have savings. It's not even enough for a family of maybe a man and his wife, how much more with children. And now you're talking about a home plan. So I'm asking at the top of my head now that so to get some kind of benefit, home plan, you must be a top earner. You must be somewhere around maybe $500,000. But you guys always preach something else. You tell us from a humble background, and you can achieve anything you want. So tell us, for so many Nigerians listening to us now who probably assume that what they make is not even enough for the month, how do we key into this thing you're talking about?
Okay, so basically, I said something earlier on, self-development. And I always tell people, emergency are created by laxity. Emergency are created by laxity as a result of mental laziness. I want to go to Aja, and I'm in Agege, and I faced Abeokuta. How am I going to end up in Aja? Do you understand what I'm trying to say now?
Yeah.
For whatever you want to achieve in life, it has to be a plan on purpose.
Absolutely.
You have to work towards your goal. Imagine I work as a teller in 10 years. And in 2006, there was economic boom. Recession came in 2008. Majority of people lose their job. Majority of my mates that went into the banking sector, they lost their job. 2 years in banking, what's their experience? Nothing to fall back on, nothing. They've collected good salary for 2 years, but no experience. So, do you understand where I'm going? So I forfeited that to actually enroll in a place whereby I can garner what? Experience, plan on purpose, to be able to achieve. So, like I said earlier on, I started this company with 570,000 naira. I am very, very frugal when it comes to money management. Yes, very frugal when it comes to money management. I have a portfolio of over 30 billion. You can't steal me with any escort. Not that there is no, not that I cannot afford it, but it's not a priority.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say now? So, for me, the truth of the matter is just that everything I have to do, I have to set out a plan and put a timeline to it. My vision is constant. The timeline in which I achieve them is a variable. But will I achieve my goal 100%?
Absolutely.
So when you earn 90,000, if you are an income earner of 90,000 and you dream of buying a house one day, what are you doing with your 90,000?
Yes. Yeah, you see,
What value are you adding to yourself? They call seminar of 5,000, you cannot attend. They call financial freedom of seminar, that come and attain financial freedom. How much are you investing in self-development? Because what a mental future you cannot picture in your mind, you can never live in it. So it starts from the mindset. So when I gave birth to the vision of GMH Luxury, I was sitting on a reinforcement on a site in Ilaje Bariga. I didn't even have 300,000 in my savings. And I wrote it down, I can never forget, that by 2014, I am going to start my first development. I couldn't start in 2014, but I started in 2015 by buying a land worth over 40 million naira. So I was able to move. So it's service mentality. When you have a service mentality, when you have a service mentality, when you have a mentality of rendering excellent service, money chases you.
Yeah.
I have never seen anyone that chases money that makes money. You can never. But when you chase excellent service, money naturally comes to you. So what do I do differently when I establish Joshua Consult Limited? Is if you call me now that you want to do piling, all I'll be doing is to educate you on how you can do a stock check on your project site.
Right.
That when you get there, this is what you look out for, this is what you look out for, this is what you look out for. I'll give you a cost implication to that effect. And I will provide all the information you need, even as a layman, to be able to know if you are doing your work well or not. Will you rather not give me your work?
I will give you why don't?
But
Because
when I was,
have the experience.
but when I was, when we were having the conversation, I am not pitching to do the work for you.
Yeah,
I am,
but because you're
enlightening you.
selling to me the knowledge you have.
The knowledge I have.
Multiple skills.
Very good, which is good. What I hear from you is vision, goals, setting goals, planning, and ensuring that you are disciplined enough
Resilient,
to
too.
stick with your vision and your goal. Clear cut. It's very important. But then let's come back to the realities around us.
Yes.
Talking about the number of building collapse we have witnessed in recent times. In fact, in recent times, we've had successive building collapse in the country and in Lagos, and it's worrisome. Some have attributed it to the soil texture because it is salty and all of those things. You hear all sorts of stories. You are the expert here who will clear the air for us. And then there's also the infiltration of these persons who now build houses, or developers, and then they are talking about the cost of building materials, how it is that they want to make a lot of money and all of those. So just help us understand what really is going on within this sector and how you are still able to distinguish yourself despite of all of these issues.
Okay, so I will tell you this. Have I failed before? Yes. But as you all know, that failure inspires winners, but it defeats losers. So in my course of in my career progression, I've suffered fatal failures where I lost a lot of money. I had to demolish 11 units in Magodo. Yes.
11
units of terrace houses in Magodo at first stage of finishes.
Why?
So we have this construction ongoing, and the major canal line was blocked. If you know Magodo and Magodo Brooks, what is separating the two is actually a canal line. So some people came and said it's their land, and they blocked the canal, and our project was at the receiving end. So because I know the force of nature, how water behaves when it comes to water and structure. So we had an option, whether to pull down the building or ensure the canal is actually in state. But since we don't have control over the canal, we pull down the building. In the process, we lost over 370 million.
Ah.
Yes. So.
How did you sleep that night?
Nothing affects my mind, actually. Nothing. Because my mind is my battleground. So the truth of the matter is just that we lost money, but none of our investors lose their money because we relocated some and we refunded some. Yes. So truth hurts, but we are not going to deliver a project that cannot stand the test of time. We will not package for you a problematic, we won't pass on a project. We won't pass on a problem. When we know a project is not going to stand the test of time, we will rather cancel that particular project. And in the course of our 8 years as a development company, we've had to cancel 2 projects as a result of several environmental failure and even foundation failure. Do you understand what I'm trying to say now?
So these are the issues why we're having some of these collapses.
Yes, because they are trying to patch it up. They are trying to mend it. And nobody is going to give you what they don't have.
I'm intrigued by your story and how it is that you chose to do the right thing. Yes. So I'd had most of my corporate work experience with the real estate sector, where I'd worked as executive assistant for real estate owners in Lagos State. And I see similar cases like this, right? So they have a choice between pulling down a structure or selling the structure. Sometimes, in some other cases, they would sell the structure, leaving the owners, the buyers, to deal with such problems.
Yes,
and that has informed the way that I see that you've built trust over time.
Yes.
So looking at it in the long run, did it pay you?
100%. 100% of the time.
Yeah.
How can you grow from 570,000 in 2010 to having a project portfolio of over 30 billion in 13 years? That can only be trust. That can only be impeccable reputation. That can only be on the foundation of empathy, whereby people will say, so I've done construction works. So I started a project in 2020 and come COVID, then naira devaluation, then inflation. When I finish, I go back to the subscribers and see, there is no way what you have paid me in 2020 can finish this project. So I have this much exposure with the bank. You have to add X, Y, Z. They were happy to make the addition because we didn't cut corners. And I'm going somewhere. So when we did that, we started another development. Whenever we bring people to the completed project, they buy. 90% of the time they buy. Do you understand? So truth hurts, but it's better. Do you understand? So we always have a choice. Do we scale down the quality we've promised people? Do we do it and find a way and find a middle ground to reduce our losses and still ensure that what the brand stands for is still upheld? Do you understand? We are still able to uphold what the brand stands for, and that is what we do differently at GMH Luxury. We try everything within our capacity to do quality, to deliver quality.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, Mr. Ayo
Olanrewaju,
I mean, one more time, thank you so much. You've inspired me so much. I hope, aside your real estate, you're inspiring a lot of other young people. Because listening to you, I was asking myself, people like you with such passion, vision, just think of one thing, how to exit the country, because they say there are better opportunities where I can leverage on, and become more successful. What are some of the factors that's made you, keep up with this here in Nigeria? And what's your counsel to other people listening to you now? And tell us some of the books you like to read, because you sound like a reader.
Yes, actually. I do read a lot. So the truth of the matter is just that I believe in the project Nigeria. And Nigeria has given so much to me, and I have to give back. I'm not part of the people that say Nigeria happens to me. Nigeria never happens to me. Then if Nigeria happens to me, it happens to me in a good way. Because it makes me who I am today.
Yes.
And so, in an emerging economy, there is thousands of problems begging for solution. If you are able to unlock just one, that can give you a generational wealth. In a developed nation, it takes more to do anything that is innovative. because everything is almost set.
Yes.
They have a good transportation. They have the basic amenities of life. So it's either you are an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur. So to be an entrepreneur is easy in a developed world than to be an entrepreneur. And when you listen to the story of Jack Ma, when he created Alibaba, there was no internet in China. How can you incorporate a company that is an e-commerce base when you don't have internet? And there is something he said. He said for the first 3-4 years, they weren't making money. But he discovered that after second, third year, whenever he goes to a restaurant, people pay for him. Because people are now getting value, service.
Yeah.
Do you understand now? They are getting value from what they are not being paid for. They enlist for free on Alibaba, and when they see him, they thank him. Do you understand? Yeah. And today, Alibaba is multi-billion-dollar empire. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It set out to solve a problem, which was what? E-commerce. And today, Alibaba is where he is. Do you understand? So, if you can look inward, and there is a reason why there is pro before vision. That means before your vision is there is a provision for that vision. It's just for you to be able to look. So I always tell people, when you want to do business, you don't need money. You need this yourself. That's what you need.
I wonder how many people would agree with you on that, because
the truth of the matter is just that
it's proof enough.
A lot of money without financial intelligence is money soon gone.
Right.
So when I put 10 million in your hand and I put 10 million in another person's hand, at the end of the day, you are going to have a different value, but the same amount of
money. I need that everywhere.
We have limited time. Let's talk about two things now. The real estate sector is seen as a conduit for corruption.
Okay.
I wonder how you've been able to deal with that. Those who want to launder money and all of those use that sector to do that. How are you able to do that? Because from your stance, you stand for truth. Yes. And that's it. So how are you able to deal with it? That's on the one hand.
Okay.
Then Nigeria's, housing deficit, we are about 28 million as it is, and means that, according to reports, we need 28 million units of housing to addressing, this deficit. So what do you think could be the solution to also addressing this? So 2 questions.
Okay. So basically, real estate is very capital intensive, and if we are going to be very truthful to ourselves, only few people can actually afford a piece of real estate in this country. Let's be very sincere with ourselves.
Absolutely.
Do you understand now?
Yeah.
So, combating corruption, laundering money through real estate is a very complex problem. It's like trying to determine clean money from crime money in Las Vegas. Do you understand what I'm trying to say now? It's actually very difficult. But what we've been trying to do over the time is the fact that we receive money through a proper and appropriate channel. Do you understand what I'm trying to say now? So if you want to buy into our project, you have to pay through the appropriate channel that is traceable. Do you understand? So those are the things we are actually doing differently. So if you want to buy into any of our projects, there are legal means of making payments. So anything outside that, we will not put our hand. Then going into the housing deficit. Yeah. So we moved from 2 million in the last 15 years to 28 million. And in 2050, Nigerian population will be over 400 million. The value to bridge the gap is put at over 80 trillion. FMBN, National Housing Fund, that ought to champion this deficit. Their market capitalization is in tens of billions. So how do you bridge the gap?
Yeah.
So what can we do differently is very simple. We've seen what India was able to do between 2017 and 2023. They were able to deliver 17.3 million housing units. And how did they do it? By giving a subsidized loan to their citizen. The same thing was done in Brazil, My Home, My Life, in 2009 by Lula da Silva. What did they do? Subsidized loan. The same thing was done in South Africa. What did they do? Subsidized loan. How can real estate be cheap when the facility available to the real estate developer, even in the private sector, is at 30%? How can real estate be cheap when the cost of approval year in, year out is like this? It's going up. Majority of the time, over 500% of the preceding year. How can real estate be cheap? Massive naira devaluation, and 90% of finishing material for real estate is actually imported.
Wow.
Today, what is our dollar to naira? So it's a sector government really needs to pay attention to. In 2006, I was living in... Yes, so, in 2006, I was living in Agege. The travel time between Agege and Ikoyi back then is around 1 hour. Today, what is the travel time between Agege at peak period to Ikoyi? 3 hours. Because government is no longer creating new town. There are no, so the infrastructure are available, they are overstretched because of what? The population, because there is no provision for the population expansion. Do you understand? And as far as collapse is concerned, if you look at the pattern of, if you look at the collapse in recent time, it follows a particular pattern. Gone are those days that there is housing collapse in the rainy season. Now you have multi-story structure collapsing. Yeah. And the reason is not far-fetched. Nobody will give you what they don't have. Is the high level of professional quackery in the real estate sector that is bringing about the collapse. An accountant wants to be an engineer.
You are breaking the table.
Unfortunately, we don't have time to continue this conversation. There's so much to say, but you have said a lot.
Thank you so much.
Just a little time. We must thank you, Ayola Iwaju, for your time, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Yes. Well, ladies, it's been an interesting ride, but this is where we have to close the curtains for today's show. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. We'll see you again on Monday. Do stay safe. Bye for now.